So the way you're putting every blood, sweat, and tear into your business needs to pay you. Because if it was somebody else, you would make sure they get paid. And that is important because when you start paying yourself, you start paying more attention to the other elements of your business that you were overpaying for services that you don't need to be overpaying for.
Hey, it's Renee. Welcome to the Into the Wild Show, a podcast designed to encourage women to take their back of the napkin idea, launch it, and grow a wildly successful business. I founded We Wild Women, an entrepreneur training company, to help women like you, moms and go-getters, start the business of their dreams the right way. Not too long ago, I launched my $1 million agency when I was 8 months pregnant with my first son and welcomed my second son only 11 months later. So I know how to grow businesses and babies. Join me as I teach you the guiding principles and how to start and grow your business while overcoming the voice in your head screaming, "It's not possible." These raw and funny episodes will make you feel like you're right here with me, sipping on some Pinot and leaving more confident saying, "Yes, I can." Every episode leaves you with some action items and a real kick in the ass to get started. Here on Into the Wild, you'll hear from other trailblazing entrepreneurs and experts because I know that the best advice is from someone who's successfully done it before. So put your headphones on, grab a cup of coffee, and tune in because Into the Wild is about to begin.
Subscribe to my mom's podcast.
Hey, you wild women. My next guest is a certified business wealth strategist, gender racial wealth gap advocate, and the founder of Wealthfluency. She helps successful driven business women gain clarity and control of their business finances so they can get more F-words. Having 10 years experience with major banks in Europe to implement systems that make them a lot of money, she's uniquely placed to help women understand their finances and develop systems that help them build wealth, achieve financial security, and the freedom they're looking for. She helps in creating learning and teaching others to help build supportive learning environments. And I've tuned into a couple of her episodes and other people's podcasts, and she's a wealth of knowledge, no pun intended. Please welcome the amazing Anwin Mbah.
Hello, wild women. How are you guys doing? Hope you're having an amazing day so far.
Yeah. I just found out that Anwin is in Orlando, Florida, and we're going to be heading down to go to Disney soon. So it's exciting.
Sunshine State, for sure.
Sunshine State. Yeah, where we are in Kelowna, it's warmer today. The snow's melting, but there's still snow and it's still cold. So it'll be a nice treat to get to Florida soon.
Definitely.
Okay, so we're going to kick things off with some quick questions for the audience to get the chance to know you faster. So are you ready?
Yes, let's go.
All right. Where are you from?
So originally, well, it depends how far you want to go. So I'm West African by descent, Cameroon, born and bred in London. Dad was a diplomat, so we traveled quite a bit with the embassy. And now I'm in Orlando, and I tend to go to Jamaica quite a bit as well. You were just mentioning it earlier. And It's just this side of the world. I've been on this side of the world for about 3 going to 4 years now, just exploring this side of the world because 2 weeks wasn't enough any longer to kind of really get the experience. And a 17-hour flight for 2 weeks I became too exhausted.
I know. So now you're stuck with us.
Yes, until I finish all these wonderful countries here. And then the States is huge. So yes, I'm here for a bit.
And then you got to come up to Canada.
Oh yes, Niagara Falls for sure.
Niagara Falls, and then West Coast too, the mountains are just breathtaking. Okay, so what's one of your favorite quotes?
Ooh, one of my favorite quotes is, "Do not let the limitations of your eyes limit your mind. For the longer you're not taking action, the more wealth you're losing."
Oh, it's so good and so true. Okay, what is one of the best pieces of business advice you ever received?
Best? Oh gosh. It would be get out of your own way. The whole, I need to get it right, the perfectionist side of things. So just get out of your own way and do it.
Right.
When somebody just rolls their eyes at you like, seriously, you're still overthinking that?
Oh yeah. It happens a lot. We all do it, but especially when you want to start or grow a business or really understanding your wealth and your business and your personal life, it's the biggest roadblock to anybody is themselves, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
So what is one of your biggest business mistakes?
Oh, I did the classic, people need this, so I'll create the product and people will come.
Ooh. And that didn't work out?
No, it didn't. It needed a little bit more refinement than that. What I learned as well, because I come from a corporate background, so being in the investment banking space, the language and the way you deal with people is totally different than when you're dealing with them from a small business one-to-one perspective, which is really, really weird because I could be speaking to the same person, but in this space, we're in the corporate space, so they get what I'm saying. But when I'm dealing with them as a business owner for their own business, it's a different dynamic. It gets more emotional in regards to emotionally driven conversational marketing, which on the corporate side, no, we don't deal with that. It's just, what are the skill sets? Let's get on with it. Even when you look at CVs, you can see that CVs are very skill set heavy and certification heavy on the corporate side, whilst on the business side, which is a weird way of saying it, it's much more one-to-one, much more personable, much more experience-driven, if that makes sense. Because you might never be a marketing person, but you come, you learn, and you're delivering results, and people are willing to hire you based on your results rather than, oh, yes, I've got a PhD in marketing or anything of the sort, which is more corporate.
So you used the marketing copy that was more designated towards corporate investing as opposed to small business financing.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then you fixed that, obviously.
Yes, I did. I got a coach. I got a sales and marketing coach to kind of help me come away from that corporate structure, that corporate language, that corporate thought process, and deal more with humans rather than a corporation.
Ah, yes. Humans. Who would have thought, right?
I know, right? What's that?
Okay, what is a book that you could recommend today?
Mindset is a big thing. Mindset is huge. Don't bother doing anything without starting with your mindset, because if you do not feel that you're able to do it, then you will not be able to do it if you do not gear yourself up for it. So I will start with anything around money mindset. So Denise's book is really, really good. Denise Duffel-Thompson, her books are really good around, again, understanding your money mindset. Jen Sincero as well is really good around understanding your money mindset. It is a massive thing for you to understand your money mindset, because whatever it is, I am not a big advocate of, change who you are and become this excellent investor, this excellent saver and all that. It's more understanding who you are and leverage that, because that is much more sustainable than me trying to be Oprah Winfrey. I'm not. It's easier for me to be successful. It's easier for me to sustain the success. It's easier for me not to relapse if I am focusing on Anwin and what Anwin knows how to do well, rather than me trying to change Anwin to become Oprah. Then that's where people fall back into the old habits, which again is natural. But then the guilt comes in, the, negative self-thought comes in, shame and all that. And so focus on your mindset. Start with your mindset. That is going to propagate into your business. It's going to propagate into how you invest as well, because it takes discipline. And if you do not understand yourself, you'll be following all different kind of investment fads rather than just sticking to, this is me, this is how I know how to do it. Let me stick to it.
And that's sometimes the hardest thing, is because we look at these people in the industry that inspire us and we aspire to be like them. Now, does Denise have the money archetypes, like how you earn money quiz or something? I feel like she has something really awesome on her website.
Yes, she does. She does. It's her. So she has the money archetypes that she puts out there. I actually took that a step further. So I kind of use the money archetype. So you kind of know what your money archetype is. And then what are your gifts and what are your challenges and how does that line up to your business? So what are the wealth pots or what are the blind spots that you have in your business that you're not leveraging because you're not using what your money archetype is.
Right.
Because she kind of goes into the whole principle.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong. Your money archetype is your money archetype. It's just like your hair is blonde. Right. No right or wrong. Right. But how do you leverage? I mean,
some days it could be like I could touch up my color. No, but I totally get it. So I remember, and like this probably relates, but when I ran my last PR agency, I had a business partner, and between her and I, like right out of the get-go, we barely did any of the pitching. I actually hadn't pitched the media pretty much at all the entire time I ran this agency. And like talking about like really honing in on your zone of genius too, is understanding how you function and also understanding your relationship to money will either help you become more profitable or hinder you. So it's really fascinating. I know we'll dive into this. So tell us, what inspired you to start your company, Wealthfluency?
So I was working with HSBC at that point in time. I was doing some work with them around a regulation that I was helping them deploy. And a lot of their private banking clients, which are usually high net worth, ultra high net worth individuals, first of all, they were all business owners. And these are individuals that you need a minimum of 5 million disposable income to be able to be a client of HSBC in their private bank structure. So first thing, all of them were business owners. So that's why I focus so much on business women, because you have the easiest, the most controllable way to build wealth, that you need no skill sets except what you have with you right now. So you're sitting on money, pretty much. So I noticed the way they were running their business and the way they were running their finances really had nothing to do with how much money they had, because all of them had different variations of their high net worthness. But it was literally bringing that to small business owners that, guys, you do not need to have 5 million. You do not need to even have 1 million. There's a lot of things that these guys are doing that we can be doing as well. So that when we're the 5 million, 3 trillion business owner, a lot of these habits and a lot of these routines are already within you. So you are not then testing yourself, or you're not learning when you're at 5 million, because then the error has a bigger impact compared to if you start now, you've already mastered that. It's just like being a basketball player. If you miss a hoop in high school, it's not a bigger deal as if you miss a hoop in the NBA.
Yeah, the stakes are higher.
Yes, but you've already started practicing hooping from high school. So you're not waiting to the NBA to start practicing how to, throw your hoops. It's the same. So that's why I started Wealthfluency. It's like, guys, it's not rocket science. They're not unicorns. And, there's no Red Bull that's making them fly. We can start doing this with £5, $5, whatever it is that we have. It's routines that they're putting in place that we need to start doing from today. And a lot of them have it because some of these organizations are generational. So these are families. Not a lot of them are self-made, but over the years, we have a lot of self-made first-time new money, as we call them.
Yeah. But
a lot of them are actually old money, and they've set these routines in place, and their kids grow up in these routines that they think is normal, but actually it isn't. So that is what pushed me to bring Wealthfluency, that we should be fluent with money the way we're fluent with our first language.
So how did you find your first customers?
It was actually from the bank. Okay. It was actually from the bank. So I did a lunchtime, which we call brown bag, at the bank during our lunch break, kind of introducing the concept of, your money mindset. Because with a lot of bankers, they're a bit like doctors. Doctors are the worst patients.
Yeah.
Bankers are the worst with their money, especially because they're making so much money. Because you're making so much, you do not really feel that you are bad with money, because the money still kind of replenishes itself. When you're on 100, 120K per annum, it comes, you spend, it comes back, rather than the fluctuation that small business owners would have. Mm-hmm. So that is where I started, and then kind of went more and niche down into, okay, definitely I'm dealing with women, because looking at stuff like Jen Sincero and Denise as well, there was this inert way that women deal with money, especially the way society has boxed us in, that we don't even realize some of these nuances that we have to kind of break out of to be able to leverage the fact that let's ask for the price and let's be, straightforward with it. There's this clip of one of Denise's talks where she did a skit about this is the way a man asks for money and this is the way a woman asks for money. I don't know, like you guys should totally look it up if you get a minute. And literally it was the guy goes and he says, yes, it's 5,000.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it. The woman goes, it's 5,000. But I could give you a discount. Yeah. Is that too much? And they start just jumping in and giving all other alternatives. So I'm like, that is so true.
It is. So we don't value ourselves. Like I think I talked about this on our last episode too, just about how we don't charge accordingly, but even it's ingrained in our DNA as women to not feel as valuable as we are because like we were born with this. And I know that you talk about this stuff too, but it's so interesting. The woman's like, are you sure? Like, it's not too much. I can offer you like longer payment terms. And a man's like, it's $5,000 or take it or leave it. Right?
That is so very true. But I think one thing I just want to express as well is that it is normal. It's the way we've been brought up. We've been brought up to be the carer. We've been brought up to be, in the back seat. We've been brought up to be the martyr, that we sacrifice everything for everybody else. Yep. So a lot of this is ingrained within us. So basically we are going against the grain. And until it doesn't switch on for you, you would think it's totally normal. Yep. Because if you look even from generational, like between me and my mom, we have certain disagreements because I'm like, no, I'm doing this. Mom's like, no, but what about the kids? What about your husband? And I'm like, they'll survive.
They'll be fine.
Yeah. So
my mom wanted me to be like a nurse or a teacher. And because they just don't understand a female entrepreneur. And we still have to undo like fabrics of our society that have women thinking a certain way about their abilities, about how they can make money and why and how they can be independent. So we have to unlearn all these things in order to relearn them so that we can be successful. So my question for you about wealth building, what is the difference between income generating business and a wealth building business?
Let me put it really, really simple. An income generating business allows you to pay your bills. A wealth generating business allows you to pay your bills, go on holidays, travel the world, allows you to be able to build wealth, especially around, although it's not fully passive, but, diversify your product suite, diversify your income streams as well. That is where we start building wealth, where you're able to just sit down and you are still making money, where you're able to still make money without necessarily being 100% active and present within your business.
Making money while you sleep.
Yeah, the sleep coins, definitely. COVID really put a magnifying glass to kind of show ourselves what kind of business we have. Because what ended up happening is a lot of people were taking out loans for the immediate impact on their business. And that shouldn't be the case. The impact should have been in 6 months' time, in 12 months' time. So I'm taking the loan because I know in 6 months' time or in 12 months' time, if things don't change, I'll be in a tight corner. Yep. But what a lot of businesses were doing, I need the money now. That shows that it's an income generating business because literally you're making money to pay your bills. Yep. There is no forecast there to be able to say, okay, I've got this stuff and we're covered until this point.
So how do you...
There is no risk.
So what are the crucial steps then to build build wealth in your business? Very
first thing, Renee, and if we tap into what you said earlier, is around valuing yourself. Pay yourself. Mm-hmm. You have to pay yourself. You're the most important employee to your business, especially if you're an LLC or a limited company. Your company is a different entity to you. So the way you're putting every blood, sweat, and tear into your business needs to pay you. Because if it was somebody else, you would make sure they get paid, right? Which comes back to I'm sacrificing myself and so on and so forth. And that is important because when you start paying yourself, you start paying more attention to the other elements of your business that you were overpaying for services that you don't need to be overpaying for.
So you want to grow your business, but you're stuck. Maybe it's your lack of organization or the sheer overwhelm of doing it all. Maybe it's because you have kids and you wonder how you'll be able to manage parenting and entrepreneuring. It's a good thing you're tuned in, because if this is you, I have a solution. It's my private coaching. This program is designed to help female entrepreneurs get unstuck, inspired, and motivated to grow their dream business. All you have to do is go to wewildwomen.com/coaching. That's www.wewildwomen.com/coaching and check it out. When you click the button, book a free discovery call, you'll be prompted to schedule a really fun chat with me. So I say do it. Best case scenario is we will make a plan to crush your business goals this year. And I'd love to hang out with you. So go ahead, go to wewildwomen.com/coaching. Ooh, okay. So I have a question about this. I coach a couple women that I can think of that have very successful businesses, and they have revenues upwards to like $500,000 to almost $6 million. And they are not paying themselves very much at all. So what is something that they need to believe in themselves, or that I can help them believe in order for them to pay themselves more?
Well, the first thing I would say is, why aren't they paying themselves? Yeah. The answer you would get is, I'm reinvesting everything back in my business. Fair enough. How much are you reinvesting in your business? They will not be able to tell you, because it's not a conscious decision. It is not an intentional decision that, oh, I could have paid myself 30K this month, but I decided that I'm only going to pay myself 10 and put the remaining 20 back into the business. That is a conscious decision that you're reinvesting back in your business.
Do you feel like people might value their businesses more if they're paying themselves accordingly?
It would be a bit of both. I think from the way it is, they overvalue their business, because literally they're sacrificing their well-being to make sure
undervalue
that the
themselves.
is successful. Yeah.
Huh.
So my business is more important than me, but it can't be, because if anything happens to you, there is no business.
It's such an interesting dynamic, because it's like there's part of it where, depending on what the business looks like, reinvesting back into the business makes sense. But the thing that I worry, especially about like these women that I coach, is I always tell them, like, if there's room for you to give yourself a raise, do, because you're one of the more important people in the company. If you were to hire somebody to replace you, they'd be making 3x what you're making. So why not pay yourself more?
It depends on your business model as well, because we have, the unicorns of Silicon Valley that don't make a profit for years on end. But we have to understand that those founders have a specific exit strategy.
Yeah.
Make it big, sell it, and bounce. A lot of them, that is their strategy. So they're able to put that money, all that time in, because they know when they sell it, they're going to make their money and some.
Right.
But a lot of us are not looking to sell our businesses as yet, or we've not even thought of, what is my exit strategy? Am I handing it over to the kids? Am I selling it? Yeah. And that kind of determines also the kind of business model you have, to make sure that you're packaging it well enough for an investor or for a buyer, or even attractive enough for your kids to take over.
Yeah.
So if you're not paying yourself, an investor will look at it and was like, what is going on? What's happening with the numbers here?
It's true. So, my agency, we went through due diligence because we were in the process of being acquired by another agency. And one of the things they looked at is, what's the executive team's, what are their salaries? And we, like, good for us, it wasn't months before that we gave ourselves a raise. It had nothing to do with that due diligence. But had we gone through and sold the business, we would have said part of our negotiation was that it was a 3-year earnout, which I thought was a little bit long. It would have been like, we want to be earning at least what we're earning now. So if we were paying ourselves $45,000 a year, we would have been up the shit creek without a paddle. So there's so much about this too. I believe that we need, like, we could dive like so deep in this and understanding why it's so important for us to be paying ourselves. Right? And you think about the notion of, like, if you were to hire somebody to replace you, what would their income expectations be? That's what you should be paying yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Make it a conscious effort, because a lot of what I do with my clients is work based on profit first methodology by Mike Michalowicz. And just the shift in mindset when you start looking at things differently, because it's exactly the same numbers. We're not changing your numbers. We're asking you to look at it differently, because you're paying yourself, you're putting money away for your taxes, which I've worked with so many consultants that don't put any money away for taxes. Then when the tax bill comes, they work to pay their tax bill.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then, you have an eye on also how much your expenses are, because a lot of these 6-7 figure launches is costing them 6-7 figure to actually make the launch.
Yeah.
So they end up with nothing. But when you know that, okay, out of my 1 million launch, I need 400 to make sure that I'm paid, my team is paid, my taxes are put away, and I'm making a profit. It kind of makes you realize, oh, I cannot spend the 1 million on expenses and fancy funnels and all these bells and whistles, because I need 400 to cater for this. So all I have left is the 600 on all of that.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes that, okay, maybe I'm not going to go for the whole, shebang at this point in time.
Right.
Because I'm literally just working to pay expenses. And that is not why we went into business. We might as well stay at our jobs.
That's so true. So what are some of the tips that you teach the women within your community on how to build that wealth?
So how to build wealth. So after you start paying yourself first and get that under your belt, I kind of go through 3 stages, so to say, where the first one is all about you as the business owner. You do not want to be in a position where your business outgrows you, because that's when the board comes in and the board outs you. Because you're not, again, in alignment with your business. So mindset, which is what I mentioned earlier, what is your money mindset? What is your story? What do you want your story to be? Then you look at also your abilities around finances. So your forecasting, what does that look like? Are you comfortable with that? And I'm not saying, because the comeback is I have an accountant. Your accountant is there to prepare your book. In fact, your bookkeeper is there to put those day-to-day transactions. Your accountant is there to bring it all together and say, based on all these transactions, this is how much you owe in tax. This is how much you owe in sales tax and all different taxes. You are your CFO if you do not have one. So you have to make those financial strategic decisions for your business. So that's where forecasting comes in. Am I going to use this extra money now to launch this product? Or am I going to use it for innovation? Your accountant won't be able to tell you that, because your accountant won't know anything about fashion. Your accountant won't know anything about, house plans.
Yeah.
You would know, and you're like, oh yes, I don't know, Mardi Gras is coming, and I know a lot of people want to buy plants. So I think I should take this money and invest it in a new plant arrangement because I know it would sell. Your accountant won't be able to tell you that. So you miss an opportunity. So what is your forecasting? And literally up level and upskill yourself so that you can actually sit in the position of the CEO and use all those different information coming to you to make those decisions that are going to build your wealth. Then the next one is your business, optimizing your business. Optimizing your business, you're looking at your processes. Are they lean? Okay, we do not want to have to click 7 times to buy something from you. Mm-hmm. So are your processes lean? And also you want to start with your processes first. So if everything was to crash today, internet is down, everything is down, what would your process look like? So when you know what that is, then you level the systems. What areas in my process can I systemize and automate? What tends to happen is we go off and buy systems and then try to then, put it into our process. And it's like, oh, now that I have smart card, I'm going to do this. But what was your process before SamCard? And then the final is your talent. You have your process, you have your system. Do you need somebody specific to run these systems and manage it for you? Do you need a specific talent for that? Do you need a specific talent for something else? It has to be layered. You don't just decide, oh yes, now I'm making enough money, let me bring in a VA. To do what? Right. To manage your emails, to manage your calendar. What are they coming in for? And that will usually come, oh, I have this process, I have this systems, and I need somebody with this skill set. So basically you doing all of that gives you what the job description is. You know exactly what you want the person to do. I need a person that can work on SamCard and build a landing page, a technical VA. Let me start from there. because you already know your process and the systems that overlay it. So that's around business optimization. You really want to gauge your customer experience, make them feel va-va-voom.
Va-va-voom. I love that.
And then,
okay. And final one?
Final one is legacy optimization. Taxes are an incentive. When the government wants you to behave a certain way, they put an incentive there. So what tax incentives is your government offering? Can your business leverage those tax incentives? We don't just have to sit there and say, oh yes, because I have to pay taxes, I'm just going to pay taxes. You have a lot of tax breaks that the government is giving you, only that sometimes we're not aware of it. To see, oh, okay, they're this. And that's why, the Facebooks pay ridiculous amount for tax strategists, because they're like, oh, okay, Donald Trump has decided that he's going to give people tax break that decide to go into data science. So, okay, I'm using a lot of data in my business. Is this something that I could tap into to give myself a tax break because I am using a lot of data to, I don't know, do this humanitarian thing that I'm doing over there somewhere. Right. So it's, what are the tax incentives that I could start leveraging from now? And a good place to start sometimes could be even your accountant, if you do not want to necessarily go the tax specialist
good
route.
Bookkeeper. I work quarterly with a bookkeeper. That way, now that it's automated, but anything that's charged to my account automatically gets uploaded as an expense in my accounting software. But just understanding these things too helps you make better decisions. Right? You're not making decisions based on ambiguity. You're actually looking at numbers and understanding where you are today and where you want to be. And you're making those educated decisions financially. Yeah. I refer to this example as like the one line item I looked at on a monthly basis when I had a team of 12 was called the LER, labor efficiency ratio. This line told me whether or not my team was overworked, underworked, or just on target. And based on that, I would know, and matching that with our sales projections, I would know if I needed to hire people or if I needed to hit the ground running to get more sales. And so I would know, okay, my goal for this month is I need to land 2 more clients, or my goal for this month is I need to outsource design or content or hire somebody. And that for me as a CEO was like the one big goal for me. Nothing else mattered until those things were met. So when you look at your finances this way, it's definitely a process of building wealth, because I'm looking at like not the shiny objects, but the one core function I need to do as a CEO this week, this month to actually grow my business.
Yes, it is. And I love the way you said that, the one number. When we think about finance, we think we need to become our, second in command from the accountant. Heavens no. Like, sorry. I might be in finance, but don't ask me to do accounting because I don't like it. But what they give you is literally a one-line item. Just look at that line. What are the numbers telling you? How do you have to shift gear? Because you have to make sure that you have all those things in place, that you have a positive cash flow. Because without positive cash flow, you cannot invest, which is all around legacy optimization. You need to have that retained profit to be able to invest. You need to have that positive cash flow to be able to invest. And you can invest in the stock market. You can invest in other businesses, buy out other businesses, have a share in other businesses. What is your thing? You could invest in that. And then when you have those investments, that is when you have that succession plan and that exit plan, which then allows you to know, okay, this is my short, medium, long term. This is where I want to be. This is what my retirement portfolio looks like. And I like businesses. I like startups. I like technology. So I'm going to go into that with my retained profits. Not that I'm not taking away, is the overflow that I'm using to make me more money. Yep. Every dollar in your business should be bringing in at least $5 more. If not, fire your money.
Right. So I love these wealth principles. These are so great because when we go into business, we often just want to start to do the thing, to do the marketing, to start getting customers, but we fail to understand this whole wealth concept. Because like the whole idea of starting a business is to make money. And I know as women, it's like, oh, no, it's impact. Yes, it's impact, but you can't have impact if you're not making money and if you're not profitable and if this isn't coming back to you in wealth on some level. So this has all been Incredible information. I know this is all surface level stuff and you go deep in your programs, but I have one last question for you. What do you believe it means to be a wild woman?
A wild woman. Ooh. I want to say Thelma and Louise, but without that ending. Take away the ending of Thelma.
Right?
Without the ending, but Thelma and Louise is that ability, which is in conjunction with wealth, is the ability to have options, is the ability to do what you want when you want, that others might see it as wild, but you are living your best life, being your best self.
I love it. Have options. Yeah. That's
absolutely. So I so much use the Meghan Markle example, where it's like, even a princess, has to deal with certain situations. The only difference between her and most other women is that she had the money to get herself out of a toxic situation.
Yeah.
Many people stay in a toxic relationship, stay in a toxic job, stay in all sorts of toxic things because they do not have those options to take themselves away.
So create the options.
Loads of options.
Yes. Yeah. The wild women have options. So create those options to create an integrated life full of wealth. I love it. Okay. Yes. So if people want to go online to find you, follow you, or understand more about what it is that you do, where can they find you online?
Oh, you can definitely find me on Instagram and LinkedIn. So Instagram, Anwin Mbah, ANWINMBAH, or LinkedIn, the same as well.
And then the name of your business again?
Wealthfluency. So that's wealthfluency, one word.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. Such a great conversation.
Oh, it was my pleasure. And definitely I would urge everybody to go out and get more F words, which is fun, freedom, and family time. Just go out and get more of them.
So there you have it. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Into the Wild. To make this girl happy and to help reach other women who are dreaming of starting their business, please leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and everywhere you listen in. Also, if you want to find me in the wild, check me out on Instagram at Renee_Warren. That's RENEE_WARREN. And leaving you with one of my favorite tips of all time. The best advice you could ever receive is from someone who has successfully done it before you. Until next time, ladies, peace out.